Welcome back, Peace of Your Mind family, man. And you know how we like to kick it off. In order to take accountability for what has passed and what will be, there's no time like presently. So, for all of those with mouths and ears, can we have a moment of your time? We want to gain some perspective. Can we have a piece of your mind? What's going on, gentlemen, man? How
What
you
up?
guys doing?
Real
Doing
good,
good,
bro.
doing good.
How you doing, Frank?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I can't
Hey.
even lie, man. They say there's a season for sowing and there's a season for reaping, right? That's
hmm
what I hear anyway, right?
I like it.
But you can't do both. Right now, I feel
Mm.
like it's a season for sowing, man. I got some goals. I sat in place and talked about some mostly financial goals, saving goals, you know, crawling out of debt goals.
Yeah.
So right now is right now is the grind, is the sowing. You know what I mean? I signed myself up for Uber, and I've been getting up for the past 3 out of the past 4 days. I've been getting up at like 3, 4 in the morning and starting my day. Going to do
Okay.
an Uber run and then going to do my handyman stuff later on in the day.
Hey. All right.
So,
So
and
how's
I,
that
I just
working out? How the whole Uber thing feeling? Like you feel like there's something you could run with long term? Probably gonna stick with it short term, or what you thinking?
I think it's good side money. I think
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's an interesting tool. I mean, I think they play with your money a little bit too much. But little facts like, yeah, as soon as I go on my car and I turn on the app, that's like punching in. I'm punched in.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? 4 in the morning is like a high volume time for people getting ready to move, and some people just ending their move. So
Yeah.
it's like a high moving time. So it's like I finish the job and then the thing be binging off. Sometimes I don't even finish the job and the damn thing be binging off. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
Um, but I mean, I feel like even with that, if you use it some kind of strategy, then you have the opportunity to kind of stay local. You have the opportunity to grab some that are going further out, and
Mm.
then I mean, you can strategize with it a little bit. So
Yeah.
it's kind of it's in some ways it's fun. It gives a lot of freedom. 8 o'clock hit. That's usually when I'm trying to pack it up, 8 a.m. But
Yeah.
then they be hitting you with the peak joint.
The
Like,
morning
yo, it's
rush
peak.
and
Come back
yeah.
out here, dog.
Yeah.
Like, don't hang it up yet.
Yep. Yep. You ever
But
been in an Uber like as a passenger?
yeah,
You
yeah, I
always had
have.
good experiences with it, or what?
Uh yeah, I never had nothing too rough happen as a passenger.
Okay.
The people are usually friendly. I'm a talkative guy, so
Yeah.
hey man, why you got into this, man? What made you get started in this?
Yeah, that's
You
a
know, I'll
that's a
be looking
common
for I'll be looking
question.
for some time. Yeah, yeah. I'll be looking for like some freedom answers, but most people be like, yeah, extra money.
A little bit, right? What about you, B? You ever been in an Uber, B?
Yeah, yeah. I've had to ride the Uber a few times. My rides are usually pretty quiet. I go in there, greet the driver. Hey, what's up? How you doing? And I just stare quietly
Yep.
till my
Yeah, I
trip is
feel you.
over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
used to do both, man. I was a passenger a lot for a little while, and then I was also a driver for a couple of years. So I know both ends of that shit well.
yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's an experience, man,
What am I
for real.
what am I talking about, bro? I just lost my car not too long ago. Hell yeah, I've been riding Ubers, bro.
Yeah,
I've been getting back and forth to work sometimes.
yeah. Right. Nah, it's a chill gig, man. It ain't the worst, Like I get you with the talkative thing. Like if I was a passenger, lots of times I was quiet, but if I was the driver, I'd prefer someone to talk to because like I didn't like the silent drives. It's pretty weird. It depends on where you're sitting, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you do it long enough, Frank, you're gonna have some stories, man. I got some Uber stories, bro. That just pretty wild stuff, man. But like it was all an experience, you know what I mean? It was pretty cool, But yeah, for the most part, it was just decent side hustle. You on the clock when you feel like getting on the clock, and then you're out of there. You set yourself up a little quota, like, all right, I want to make $50 just tonight. I want to pay for dinner, and then you get that 50, and then that's it. I'm clocking out. I'm good. You know, it's like
Yeah,
that's what's cool about it, is you can utilize it to whatever you need it for, whether it be something, you know, immediate. You know, you want that instant gratification, or you're just trying to let it pile up and then get, you know, like a little paycheck, if you will.
yeah,
So it was
yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah, you know what? My second day, right? My last job was literally like the school. The drop off was literally like the school, like a block away from here.
Okay.
I dropped that person off. I'm going home. That's it. Like
Hey.
where else am I going? I'm going home.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, out
that's
here in
dope though.
Denver, man, you get stuck. Like if you go anywhere near Denver, you're stuck in Denver for hours, bro. Like it, like you got to turn this shit off and then start driving back home. Before, you know, like you do get trapped out that way, man. There's
Yeah,
pockets where it's real busy, and you might experience that too. There's like little areas where you leave the app on, and that's where you're staying for like the next few hours until you turn it off, kind of thing.
yeah,
So I feel you.
yeah,
And then I did a couple of overnights. You know, I'll clock in at like 9 p.m. That's usually when I would do it. I turn it on at 9 p.m. and catch everybody going, you know, like to a bar, or, you know, coming home from some sort of event. Like that's when I would turn it on and try to catch most people. And a couple of times I pulled all-nighters. Like I was out there till the sun came up, kind of thing. And yeah, man, it's different. I kind of liked it though. I won't lie. There were parts of it that I liked a lot. The freedom, you know, was the nice. Like my
yeah.
office was whatever. My office window was wherever the hell I was, you know.
Yeah, yeah. You know what, man? I did hear I did hear about like I just lost my train of thought, bro. I just lost where I was going with that, bro.
That's all right.
Nah, man, somebody pick me up, man.
As we gonna write that on there. Somebody pick me up, literally. Frank out here picking
Somebody
people
pick me
up.
up,
Yeah.
man. I just lost my train of thought, man.
Nah, that's okay though. Yeah, man. I'm curious, you know, see if you get any crazy stories with it, like, because yeah, I had one where I thought I was gonna die that night, man. I was scared, bro. I had a guy, so it's funny. I had a dude in my car. It was a couple of guys, and it was one guy, you know, like average size, like my size, and he's in the passenger seat. And then I had a really big guy. I'm talking like probably like an NFL linebacker kind of dude. He was huge. Dude was like 6', 300 something, man. He was just big. And he's sitting in the back in the middle because he's so tall. He had to sit in the middle where the highest part of the car was, you know. And so, you know, dudes get in my car, and you can tell they're, you know, they're faded, man. They're on something. They were drinking or smoking or something. And you know, we start driving, and I'm talking to the dude in the passenger seat, and we were in Arvada, which is just a little north of Denver. But dude in the passenger seat, he was real chill, but his buddy was just real quiet, like just not talking. He's the big guy like in the middle behind me. And so I don't know, about 10 minutes into the ride, man, like this dude in the back like starts grabbing his head, and he's like starts hitting himself in the head, and I'm looking at him through my rear view, and I'm looking at his friend like, yo, what is he doing? And then dude
Yeah,
started, like, you ever hear people talk with that like real like deep voice, like, you know, if you oh man, what is it, you know, like when you inhale helium, you got that high pitched voice.
yeah,
He had like a really really deep voice, like it sounded like some Lil Nicky shit. And
yeah,
so he was just like freaking out in the back seat. And I'm like looking at his friend like, yo, what is happening right now? Like, what is dude really doing right now? And he's like, don't worry. He's a big teddy bear. He's just tripping back there. He's okay. Yo, the whole time I'm hugging the
yeah,
steering wheel, and I told this dude in the passenger seat, I was like, yo, if his arms come past our seats to the front, we're hitting a wall, bro. I promise you. I'm like, we're going
Yeah.
straight into a wall because this dude is fucking gigantic, bro. I'm like, yo, I'm not playing. So we get to where we're going, right? We drop the dude off, and then the big guy, he's just sitting there, and then he slowly gets out the car. He leans on the car, and he's just hanging out for a minute. And his buddy's like, "Hey, man, you got to go home." And this dude's like, "All right." He's like, "Dude, get off the car and go home." Like, it was just, it was the weirdest experience, bro. Like, I thought I was gonna fucking die that night. I got this giant dude freaking out in the back of the seat because he was having a bad trip. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
that shit was wild, man.
Oh, around what time was that? That was like one of those like nightclub
Yeah,
kind of
it
things.
was probably
So-
like around midnight or something. Like they were probably, out partying somewhere, and then wherever I picked them up from, they were just coming down. But man, yeah, dude had a bad. I don't know if it was acid or mushroom. I don't know what it was, but he was having a bad trip. He was freaking out.
Yeah.
That was a whole ass experience, bro. I was just like, whoa. So
You know what, man? I remember that just reminded me. I remember what I was gonna say now earlier. It was about like being able to be kind of in control of running into scenes like that, right? Because okay, the Uber. I mean, you could be strategic about it, right? Uber. It could be for somebody who have a hard time sleeping at night. I actually hear that's the best time to make money is doing like trips to the club, and then people getting off of work late, in the late or whatever. I hear those are the hours where it stays really busy.
Yep.
But thinking about it strategically now, right? Heck, I'm not even a night person. You know what I mean? So the fact that like I like to get up like I would prefer getting up like ideally 3:30 or so, 3:30, but anywhere between 2 and 4, let's say, right?
Okay.
To get started because that's when all that stuff is ending. Right.
Yeah.
And I actually don't really want to deal with none of that, bro. I don't want to deal with none of that. Like, I'd rather like deal with the people getting ready for work. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to deal with the people that just need to get into bed. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Because
know,
their
like,
attitudes are different. You deal with cranky people, like people that are really in a rush to get home, and or they're super drunk, and then you might have someone throw up in your car. Kind of, yeah. You're dealing with a
yeah,
very specific crowd for sure. Yeah.
yeah. And then it's cool because then you don't have to stay in no one particular town. You can go stay somewhere where it's not so hype. You stay out of the downtown area.
Yep.
Like, they have this one feature that's kind of cool where like the job come in, you have like 10 seconds to answer it. That's kind of cool, but it ain't at the same time. But I get it at the
Yeah.
same time too, because they got to get it to the next guy if you don't want it, kind of
Yep.
thing. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I like it so far, but I don't like it. I don't like how they play with the numbers. But if
Yeah.
they had like some kind of sincere system for like payment, like you know what I mean, like something that was super clear, like. Bro, 10 seconds to accept the job or not, like, or I'm gonna pass it to the next guy is crazy, bro.
Yeah. And it's
It's
even worse when
crazy.
you're en route, when you're like driving and that shit pops up and you're like, you're trying to be safe, but you got the little thing popping up like, accept this ride. Like, wait. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
you.
I've been having to learn how to put that on brake while I'm driving. That's what I
Yep.
do. I don't even want to like really bother looking at the screen. So
Yeah. No. Yeah,
yeah,
I did prefer, like, even though I dealt with the crazy crowd, I did prefer it at night because, like, if you get stuck downtown, there's a place called Market Street, which is like that's the street where everything is on, everything is popping on Market Street. And I would like it down there because, like, even though the traffic was like bumper to bumper all the time, and like someone going 2 blocks over was like a $20 job, 2 blocks over, like, oh shit, like, yeah, you know what, hey, I'll deal with it. And so you could rack up quick, but you're dealing with impatient people. You're dealing with lots of like, it's a lot of overstimulation happening because you're dealing with traffic. You're dealing with pedestrians walking. You're dealing with the Uber thing or the app going off. You're dealing with the person in your car worrying about the next. Like, there's a lot happening so suddenly. So like, you got to be in that mindset to be ready to accept it because. Yeah, that shit could be stressful, man. And if you're not paying attention, that's obviously that's how mistakes and accidents happen, man.
yeah,
But that's what I did. I'd go out at 9 and I would specifically chase that target audience. And like I said, I did that shit for like 2 years, man, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Nah, got time to hustle up for these goals, man.
That's it.
Time to hustle up.
And
All
That's
right, man.
it.
So we
it's
gonna
not like a bad idea. You know, if I had a relatively new car, I might pick up a few. You know what I mean? Pick up a few trips.
Yeah.
You know,
And
sign
and
up for
what's nice
Uber.
too, you don't even have to just do Uber. They got DoorDash and
Oh yeah,
Grubhub and
that's
all
great.
that. Like, so you could
Yeah,
avoid people and just deliver meals, and it's like almost the same. You know, you're just not having conversation. You just A to B, pick up, drop off kind of shit. And that I
yeah,
did that
they
for a
got
little
that.
bit too.
They got it on bicycles now too, man. You can deliver from your bike over
yeah,
here in
that's not a
Connecticut.
bad
Oh
idea.
man,
You know, maybe
yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I'll do some DoorDash stuff on my free time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get a workout in and deliver some food at
yeah,
the
bro.
same time
Get these
yep,
milk
at
yep.
the
hungry people.
same damn time.
And people are happy to see you, bro, because you bringing them food, man. People like
Bro,
food, you know,
I'm like, oh,
so
damn,
they
you ain't
ready
even
for
quit.
it.
It's like, yeah, man, I spent
Yeah,
over here, bro. Like,
you
I
know
just
what I
made
mean?
sure I got this to you.
Yeah. People would appreciate that for real.
Word.
It's called DoorDash.
That's
I mean,
door
Dash
to
over here.
A. There you go. I love it. Give it DoorDash some free marketing, y'all. Check that out, man.
For real.
I love it. But yeah, no, it's a decent, it's a decent side hustle. Like, it's cool too, because like it's one of those, simply genius ideas, man. Like, how do you have the world's largest taxi fleet and you don't own a single car? You know what I mean? Like, you have the world's most greatest like delivery service, and none of these people are on payroll. Like, whoa, hold up. Like, it's smart, man. It's a real smart
Yeah,
plan that they got going on there. I can't
yeah,
even be
man.
mad at them for that.
I love the smart plans, man. I don't like when they start getting greedy though, man.
Mm.
The greed is crazy, man.
Oh yeah, whew.
Yo, I think somewhere on the app it tell you get like, I don't know, I was reading it. I think it's be saying something like 70% of your of whatever the trip is. 70-80%, but I don't know, man. I started following some people's thing on Facebook, some Facebook groups and stuff like that, and they be showing some wild numbers, man.
Mm.
It'd be like $15 for the trip. Somehow the driver end up with $5. Uber end up with like $9 out of that $5, yo. Out of that
Yeah,
$14-15, yo.
little extra fees that's where it's worked into it, and
Yeah,
you
and
order
it's just
order the Uber, or you order the Uber XL, you pay a little extra. Like, yeah, there's a lot of little things that are added up into all that shit, and you as the driver
yeah.
don't see it. Like, you don't see those numbers.
There's a
So
way to work and keep everybody happy, yo.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a way. I mean, it just can't be that greedy. That's all it really is. But there's a way to work and really be working, have happy people. I'm pretty sure they did the numbers differently, yo. They have people be like, yo, fuck that Uber. I'm pretty sure I see an Uber tattoo on somebody, like Uber all day, baby. What you
Oh
talk about,
man.
man? All day yesterday and tomorrow.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just like the Harley Davidson.
Hey. Yo. For real. Yeah, try out Lyft too, bro. Do them both. Just see. I did Lyft more than I did Uber. I did Uber like the first 6 to 8 months, and then, for like the 2 years I was driving, I primarily stuck with Lyft. I liked them better, and the pink was cool. You get that little neon pink sign. I was like, I'm messing with this. I like this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, yeah. Lyft was where I was at with that. It was cool, and it felt like I had a I don't know, man. Forgive me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Uber felt a little bit more ghetto, a little more ratchet. Lyft felt a little bit more like, I'm gonna throw on a suit and tie kind of shit. And so I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Lyft, man.
I was trying to do Uber for one whole week and see what it do, and then do Lyft for like a whole week or something like that, and see what it do. I don't know. I think I'm still gonna stick with that, man. But we gonna see what it do, man. I'm gonna hold both of them up next to each other and be like, all right, this is what the numbers looking like, man.
Yeah,
I'm
there
gonna
you
have to
go.
share that.
Bro,
There you
you
go.
know what I mean? Do a
This is
little
about both of these clowns getting us, all right? And I'm still signed up for them, but don't worry about it, all right? This is how both of these clowns getting me.
do your own little analytics.
Yeah, run the
Huh?
numbers,
Do your own little analytics. Like, you know what I
For
mean?
real.
Oh yeah.
The field study.
So shit.
Word, man.
So yo, we got one more topic on the wheel, and then we can go
That's
ahead
right,
and
man. Let's
repopulate.
spin on one of those, man.
Yeah, let's yeah. So that last one, man, it's gonna feel good to get up out of there because yo, we had what, like 10, 12 or something on there at one point? Like, and
Yeah, we had a few of
we've
them.
dwindled it down, yeah. So I'm gonna spin it just because it's fun, man. Why not?
Right, man.
look
Spin
like
on
look
one
like
of
a
those,
record
man.
player.
Spin on one of those. Oh man, they ain't laying on the right one. Spin it again, man. Spin it again.
So this one was one of mine, one of my prompts because you know we've talked about this a couple of times actually in the last few episodes. You know, we had something related around questions and you know, do you ask questions in your relationships? And for me, I do, you know, and that's every relationship, not just the intimate ones, but you know, with like coworkers or with my son and daughter, with my lady, with my friends. Like I ask questions, and depending on the person, you know, I might ask questions that are about the future. I might ask questions about the right now. I might ask questions about the past, you know, to see how vulnerable you're willing to be, how forthcoming you are with information, and you know, just kind of seeing if there are any potholes back there where that need to be patched up, kind of shit, you know. And so I ask questions, and sometimes I ask hard questions that make you ponder, that make you really think, or you know, require you to be really, really vulnerable and honest. And I always appreciate the answers I get, man, because I like when people can feel like, you know what, I can answer that question. Here, this is what's up. And I do that because I like when people ask me questions, man. So that's really the reason I do it because I love when people are willing to share intimate or you know secretive parts of themselves. Like you know, you see a guy in the gym, random example, just random ass example out of my ass real quick. Random dude in the gym, right? And he's fucking ripped in tone and he's super shy, don't talk to nobody. But then when you talk to him, he's like, oh yeah, I just love Dragon Ball Z. I wanted to be real strong. So this is why I come in here. I just wanted to be able to do some cosplay. Like you won't know that unless you ask him, right? Like
Yeah.
you won't know.
Yeah.
So I like finding that kind of shit out. Like you just never actually know what's up. And so that's why I like when asking questions, because then, you know, on the off chance someone might ask me a cool question and then I gotta ponder it and I'm like, ooh, you know, I get to have that fun and deliver that. Like, so that was something I practiced a lot, you know, going back with the Uber thing. I loved asking people questions, and sometimes I'd ask them the same question just to get that different answer, you know, get a lady in her 50s or I get a dude in his 20s, you know, and I get a very different answer for the same question. And it's kind of cool to have, you know, that whole perspective thing, man. I feel like it sharpens you, and then it makes you, you know, able to communicate well with others, you know, because like when I was in college, I did take a communications course. There was a point in time I wanted to be a psychologist, and I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to figure things out, help them come, you know, overcome things or solve things, get through things. And so I had to take a communications course, which like really opened that world up to me. Like, man, you just talk to somebody and you realize like you ask the right questions, man, and people are down. People are absolutely down to keep going. And I've always just found that shit attractive, man. Like, so yeah, I definitely ask questions in my relationships, like all the time, all the time. What about y'all?
Yeah. You know what, heck, man? Let me say first off, I think this is a perfect conversation to have after we had a conversation about asking stupid questions on last week episode. Okay, so I think
Yep.
it's the perfect topic to talk about. And you know, in general, I like the power of questions. That this is actually something I've been studying more into more recently, I guess you could say,
Hmm.
is the power of questions. I read a book. I think it's called The Power of Questions. You know what I mean? And it lets you know how powerful questions are. Um, one thing you could do with questions, right? Questions can the right question can be a conversation starter that leads into a 2-3 hour conversation.
Absolutely.
all because of the right question was asked. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that's powerful about questions is people be always looking for answers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when they're talking to other people. But I think innately we want to find out answers ourselves. So we like questions. We like we instead of just telling us what it is, make us think about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People like that. Kids love it. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like I feel like innately we do too. You know what I mean? When we feel like we've drawn to a conclusion ourselves, or you know, was helped to be drawn to a you know, to a conclusion, as opposed to somebody just telling us. You know what I mean? So, you know, a question could be a powerful tool if you're using it right. You know what I'm saying? To
Mm-hmm.
plant seeds.
I agree.
It's questions that plant seeds. You know what I'm saying? So I
I
don't know.
agree.
I like the whole idea of questions. I definitely ask questions in my relationship. You know, I'm learning to like having the harder conversations, which usually involves asking a harder question.
Yeah.
You
Nice
know,
word. What about you, B?
Yeah, so that's one thing I actually want to get better at is asking more questions, and just like being inquisitive. A lot of
Mm.
times I don't ask many questions, like at all.
Okay.
Whether it has to do with like work or just like, just home or, just my relationships with friends, whatnot. A lot of times I find myself not asking questions. And a lot of times just because at the moment that I think of something, they're not there for me to ask. A lot of times if someone asks
Mm.
me, "Hey, Brian, you got a question?" Most likely the answer is no. Like,
Mm.
no, not at this moment. Like, if we're having a conversation on a specific thing, I feel like a lot of times I pretty much grasp already what's going on. So I don't have any further questions. And then, sometimes a lot later on, it might be days later, I might actually
Mm.
think of something. I'm like, you know, maybe I could have asked this, or I wonder what they would think
Yeah.
about that. So that's something I want to get better at, is asking questions. Even if it's like, smaller questions that eventually lead into asking bigger questions. Um, because I do know how useful and impactful it can be, to ask the right questions to people. Like, because I certainly don't mind being asked questions. I actually like it when people ask me something, because either it's something that I know that
Yeah.
I'm glad to impart my wisdom on, or it's something that I don't know, and now I'm excited because we get to learn about something together. So
Yeah.
that's the way I see it. So I know asking good questions, it could like strengthen your bonds and relationships too, right? So
Mhm.
it could help get to the root of like certain issues, or you might find something that you have in common with someone that you didn't know you had, just things like that. You learn more about each other, you bounce that energy off of each other. So that's something that I definitely want to put more into practice. So like when I'm at work, say I see someone who comes in somewhat regularly, just try to start like a random conversation. Hey, how's it been going? I see you guys come here all the time, but I never asked you, what you do for work, or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I want to put that more into practice.
All right. I got a question, separate question for both of y'all. Um, so B, you said, sometimes you grasp the conversation you're in, and then, days later maybe I should ask, that question, because this question just popped in my head. You ever find yourself excuse me, do you ever find yourself going back and asking that question days later, or do you kind of just, it's all right?
A lot of times I just let it go, unless
Yeah.
they happen to be right there, and I'm like, hey, I just
Okay.
thought about this, yeah, a lot of times it just ends up going unanswered.
Okay. All right. And then for you, Frank, you said you like having the hard conversations. Like you like getting into that now. And so to have, you got to ask the hard questions to have those hard conversations. Have you recently asked someone a hard question, or you have one of those hard conversations that came from a hard question recently?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. You know what, man? I'm gonna just use my relationship with my lady.
Mm,
She's a very patient woman. You know what I mean?
mm,
And like, yo, she understands we are human, right? So she always see me at my I'm I'm usually happy. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
I would say, yo, me and her don't fight like 98% of the time. Like we're like
I love
never
that,
fighting,
bro.
right? But we have had little instances where like I let my ego get the best of me. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And I, I don't know. I said a little too much. I did a little too much, whatever the case may be. And then of course, immediately after when I come down off my ego high, I feel bad. Like, you know what I mean? This is like I got to go back in the house with this person. I want to go back in the house with this person anyway, you know what I mean? I don't want her to go nowhere. So, you know what I mean? Like, and I know how I was just talking to her, treating her, whatever transpired, I did something wrong. Like I have to go and apologize.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? But more recently, I've been learning to like slow down. Like even like when I feel like the conversation, because sometimes it just be like we be having a conversation, right? And like sometimes I'll be telling her something, but she'll get so into my story, she'll get stuck on a part, even though I'm trying to like tell something whole different.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then we'll
Okay.
be like, so because I've learned to slow down, and that's the other thing. Questions are powerful when help you slow down or to help somebody else calm down. You
Mm,
ever like, you know, um, if somebody ever came at you, I'm about to get off the topic, man. You know what I
okay.
mean? But if
Go.
somebody
Do
ever
it.
came at you like hot or something, right? And I mean, it takes a lot of self control. But if somebody's they're at you hot and they're blah, 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 like, you know what I mean? Whatever they're saying, if you try to meet them with the same energy, now you guys are whatever emotion that he is showing, right, or he or she is showing at that moment. Now y'all having like this emotional battle.
Mm,
But if they come to meet you with this emotion, but you meet that emotion with logic or something, you get what I'm saying? Now it's like you kind of you shake the emotion up. Like now it's like, oh, well, now I got to answer a question.
yeah.
So it's kind of cool to stay calm because somebody coming at you hot, you kind of capture what they're upset about, and then you could reiterate it. You could try to capture what they're saying, like, you know what I mean. And then you could turn an angry person, you could bring them down to have a conversation with you through a question.
Absolutely.
You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying?
Yo, that's a good point, yo, because I mean literally that happened to me today. I had a coworker. We had a little bit of an experience yesterday at work. Not yesterday, Tuesday. And then I addressed it today, and I tried to be as chill as possible. But it did come with some strong statements and some questions. And this person was like up here and not okay, and then realized like, oh, okay, he's asking good questions, and so they finally got to come down where I was, and it was a dope ass conversation after that. It was nice and chill. It was real relaxed. A lot of understanding. And yo, you're right. You're absolutely right, bro. Someone that's hot, man. If you ask them a question, they got to put that shit in reverse because they're so hell bent on proving a point that they're so forward thinking. Like, no, 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 and then oh wait, okay, and then they got to kind of process a little differently. So yeah, that's a good point, man. Like asking questions is a damn good way to help diffuse a situation in some instances, man, and bring people back down to just just being chill. That's
Yeah, but
good.
to be prepared for that, we gotta have listening ears. We
Yeah,
gotta have
we got
listening
two
ears.
of
So
them, man.
yeah, we got two of them, and it's a strategy, man. It's like I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I think mindfulness is a beautiful thing because it's like you always want to be aware without without having to be on high alert. Like, you know what I mean? Is
Okay.
when you start using mindfulness, you really start like when something new is about to happen, you kind of it just kind of come over you like a reflection of like I've been here before, okay, and I handled this before like this, and that was a bad outcome. You know what I mean? Let me try handle it. Let me try dousing his fire with a little water and stay cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
And
like
I've
that.
gotten away with I've gotten away with plenty slaps on the wrist with the cops for my behavior.
Yeah,
Okay, keeping it
yeah.
cool. You know they come in hot, keep it cool, man. Like yo,
No, that's real.
any person look like a nut if they keep screaming at you when you're down here. Like,
Mm.
hey man, my fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody recording that, like, this guy's a nut. This is a nutty cop, man. They need to give him a day off, okay? He's tired. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. So I'm curious, B. Because Frankie, he's got his fiance and hard questions with dealing with another with a partner or whatnot. You ever experienced like hard questions, and that's wide open to however you interpret that. Has someone ever asked you a hard question that really just kind of made you either sit beside yourself or like really dial it back and think on it? You ever had an experience like that?
Yeah, I've definitely been faced with hard questions before. You know,
Okay.
any recently? Probably not. Probably like 2019, 2020. So it's been like 4 years maybe since I had to deal with
Okay.
like a truly like hard question, which made me like, question myself in ways, and make me evaluate, my thoughts and feelings on the situation, and you know what do I have to do to um steer myself in the right course. What actions do I have to take? Who do I have to speak to? What do I have to do? You know, to put myself back in the position where I feel good. That I feel like I'm doing the right thing. That I'm not wronging anybody, and that I'm not also allowing anyone to wrong me. But yeah, I'd say it's been a good like 4 or 5 years maybe.
Okay. Yo, so earlier, I don't think we were shooting yet. I don't think we were on record yet. But Frankie, you had said something about people struggle with transitions, and yeah, I agree. Like that, transitions are tough, man. Whether it be a transition to a new job, to a new
It's
home,
a,
new relationship, new business
listen,
idea. Like,
listen, bro. Listen, I mean it on a smaller scale than that. I
okay.
mean it in everyday life, and it's only gonna get worse.
Hmm.
It's only gonna get worse, man. You know, um, I have my cousin. I have a cousin, right? And transition is to me is the time you wake up and you're getting ready to work. That's transition. You're transitioning from waking up and having to be in mommy mode to have whatever the workflow mode is. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And you have to do all this preparing and get dressed, and those are the transitions, right? But like I fear for some of like the little kids, the young people, right? Because during these moments in transition, when mommy or daddy's shifting through the door, cooking food, preparing for their day, these little guys they're like this the whole time in transition, bro. They're
Hmm.
like this. They're transitioning down the stairs like this. They're transitioning to the
Hmm.
car like this. You know what I mean? You, my little cousin, he, his mom running around like a crazy one with her hair cut off, trying to get ready for work. He's 4 or 5 and is capable of putting his shoes on, but does he put his shoes on? No, he's lost in transition.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Waiting
Okay.
for somebody else to do it for him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
It-
again, we are creatures of habit, right? So if this is the habit for the children already when they're young, imagine who they're going to be when they're lost. And then now they're trying to give them VR sets that they can
Ooh.
walk around the street with. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, bro? This we Talk about loss, bro. It's coming, man.
Oh man.
It's coming. I'm not talking about everybody, of course, but like it's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? They're gonna be talking about like this being a problem. Like
I feel you.
everybody don't know how to transition. There's gonna be a profession for you. You see you see those old those commercials with the old guy teaching old people teaching new homeowners not to act like their parents.
Yeah, we
It's gonna
was
be
just talking about that this today at work, man.
Yo, it's gonna
Uh,
you see how we got coaching for everything right now, bro? There's gonna be coaching to teach people how to transition. No, this is when you tie your shoes. Okay, we're heading out the door.
yep.
Shoes tied, okay?
No,
That's what it's gonna be, man. They're gonna be
that's a
20,
good
30
point.
years old. Don't know how to get out the goddamn door. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point, bro. Because like, when you brought up transitions, bro, my brain went to the more heavier aspects of that word. Like immediately I thought about, yo, I'm about to be a father. Like my son is about to be born in like the next 10 minutes. I'm about to be a dad. Can I do this? And
Yeah.
I would ask myself that hard question, like, am I up for this shit? Like, because you get those 9 months to prepare for the kid to come. It's coming. You can do all the mental preparation as much as you can, but in those next 10 minutes before that boy or girl is coming up out of there, man, you're like, oh shit, this is happening.
Yeah.
And
that's a life transition,
that's
man.
a
I was definitely talking about more. Yeah,
that's where I
when I
went with
mentioned
that.
Especially, your first kid, luckily for me, our mom didn't move out of Connecticut yet. So she was able to help me a whole lot that first year with my son.
Nice.
Especially, I was a single parent out the gate. So that shit was crazy. From not having to really deal with babies to just having one just like that. Like,
this is it. Yep, this is what you do now.
You know what happened, Hector, is Brian waited too long, man. He was supposed to have my nephew the same time I had my kid. Right? I had it good, Hector.
Yeah.
I had it good. My mommy just moved to North Carolina a few years ago, like probably like right around the time Keyshawn was born. But me? She was here for like all of my kids' life, okay? Well, I was talking about spoiled, bro.
Oh man.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I should have got it out the way.
I had a babysitter, man. Put it that way, man. I had a babysitter. Put it that way.
I would have been almost done, not done, but like,
but like getting close, approaching that,
like going to school or whatever, now.
Oh, you would have been feeling like me, man. You want to make sure they doing good in this independency, right? Like, all right, come on, let's get it. Let's get independent now, okay? Get your own car.
We head start on me, you know what I mean? This one, he belongs to a whole different generation now,
Yeah, right. There's literally almost a generational gap there, for real. Holy shit.
For real.
That's wild, man. But yeah, when you said transitions, bro, I was really thinking hard transitions, like, like moving to Colorado at the age of 18. Am I ready for this? Can I do this? Like, and I'm tying it in with those questions, man. Like, because I would ask myself those questions.
Tell us about the transition from when you was 18 into Colorado, bro. That's a young age. You know what, man? This is I think that's a good question for anybody. Yo, listen. In our teens, man, we had some travelers, we had some adventurers, yo. You had to travel away from the nest. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's where growth is. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I kind of remember vividly, man. I remember hearing about Hector leaving, man. I remember hearing about it, B. Like, yeah, nah, Hector left with some woman and went to Colorado. I was like, what?
Exactly. Yeah, like what?
Yeah. Colorado, bro. I done up and left, man. Yeah, that was tough, man. I was young. I was real young, dude. I was 18 years old. And I graduated high school at 17. I graduated early.
Yeah, and your birthday's in December, so
December, yeah, the end of the year. So
So wait, what initiated what made you pick Colorado? What made y'all pick Colorado?
I mean, truthfully, it was the furthest place from home that was accessible, like right away. Like I had a place to go to, kind of thing. Like I had somewhere I could go, a couch to sleep on, kind of thing. If I left, and my mom and I have had conversations about this, man. But like, I didn't really get along, and like I love my mom, but under the same roof, we would butt heads, and it didn't feel all that good. And this is my own personal take on it. Maybe it's a conversation I'll have with her. I'm sure she'll watch this episode, and the conversation will start. But this is a good place to do it. But I know that my grandpa, is a tough dude. I love him, but he's a tough guy, and very like get up, make your money, get your ass out, go do something with your life kind of person. And I know that
Yeah.
that's how it was for my mom, because she had me when she was 16 and pregnant. My mom was young, and so she had to grow up fast. And I know that a lot of that mindset of me getting a job and going to school and start doing this and hustling at the age of 17 was because she had to deal with it. And so a lot of that same mindset that she was kind of pushed, that was, I won't say pushed, but more influenced upon her from my grandpa, kind of fell on me too. And I wasn't there. I wasn't, like, oh, I need to be an adult like right now just because I hit 18. Like it felt like, yeah, you're 18 now, you're an adult, go be an adult. And I was still figuring out life. I was still like no, like what? I want to figure out life. I want to enjoy this experience, this transition between being a college freshman to before I become an adult. Like I'm not an adult the moment I graduate high school. Like you put that diploma in my hand and what? I got to go get a 9 to 5 right away. Like I wasn't about that. And so it felt like if I'm going to be forced to do it, I'm going to do it on my own terms. And so I met someone, and my baby mama, and she lived out here. And then I figured, you know what? If I'm forced to do this, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And so I came to Colorado, and then within the first 3 months, I landed a job working for Sprint Nextel. And I didn't go back to school for like 6 years, man. It took a little while to go back to school, but I jumped into the workforce, man, and I felt empowered. I felt like this is what adulting feels like. No one telling me what to do. I pay my own bills. I show up and do what I want. Like it felt healthy. It didn't feel forced upon me because, well, it was, but in my own way. And that was more just me being rebellious, me just not wanting to hear it from mom, because I had a different mindset. I had a different expectation. Like mom was going to help me transition to become a healthy adult, not force me into it. Like this is what you do now. So I left Connecticut, bro. I let everything go, like friendships. I hadn't talked to you for years, because I was figuring shit out, like I was out there trying to figure things out, man, trying to figure out what the next move was. And when I did get to come back, man, we had the whole squad meet up. It was cool, man. We all got to chill for a while over at mom's crib, out there in West Haven. Or no, they were in New Haven at that point. But yeah, man, a lot of that transition just was because I didn't want someone else to tell me how to do it. I wanted to do it for myself. And so that's really what that was, man. Just me being a little rebellious, but like a little egotistical at the same time. Like I'm my own person. I'm my own adult. You're not gonna tell me how to adult, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just went and did it, bro. And then, a few years after that, man, Aiden came into the picture. And it wasn't always rainbows and sunshine, man. It was some dark, gloomy days, bro, for real. Like I literally had a point where I fell into depression, and I chalked a lot of that up to being so disconnected, even from myself, man. Like I didn't have real good, home built friendships like you guys. Grew up in a neighborhood. We could talk about anything and pick up anywhere we left off and be good. I didn't have that out here. And then, being 18 and having to work full time and then mandatory overtime. Like I was a kid living in the adult world, and that shit was tough, man, for a while. And then going back to school kind of got my mind back right. And then, meeting the right people got my mind better, and just kind of just doing some internal digging and starting to ask myself more questions, hard questions, like, is this the life
Heck,
I
man.
want? What's up?
Heck, man. I feel like I wanted to ask a question about any regrets or remorse, but at the same time, I didn't want to go there. Like, you know what I mean? I was trying to think
Yeah,
about a good question to jump in and ask you, but I didn't want to go there because I feel like I'm coming to a better understanding that, like, yo, we got to go through something.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go through something. You know what I mean? The fact that you were able to, like, at 18 at that, like, pick a path and just like, fuck it, I'm jumping the fucking train and I'm out. Like, you know what I mean? That, yo, that's a power move for like somebody at 18. Like, bro, when I remember when I was 18, one of the things I was facing, right, is like, okay, it was the same thing, I guess. Like, I'm 18. My parents wasn't like, yo, get out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all, bro. But it was just, it was me. I was like, I'm 18. I gotta go do something. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I know I started working hard and stuff like that, but my parents didn't force me out the door. Like, it was it wasn't yeah, nah, it just wasn't forced. So like but I know one of the things I was questioning is like what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to go to college, and that's part of the. I kind of feel like part of the reason why a lot of people have a problem finding themselves. You know what I mean? Is because of the system we grew up in. And I mean, it might happen in every environment, but like there's things that speak to you, your nature, and then there's things that speak to the system. You get what I'm saying? They weren't teaching us everything in school there is about life. They was teaching us very specific things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you had to find the interest in these general guidelines. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So and that kind of, to me, that kind of like we were trying to. I feel like a lot of it was like, well, for me, I felt like a lot of it was me trying to fit in within the system. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like trying
Yeah.
to fit in within the system. Like okay, I like hip hop. I even like the way they dress, but like, I don't know. I wasn't one for like trying to rap because like, although the hip hop was entertaining, that's not the life I was living. It was not the life I was looking to live. It's not the type of energy I was trying to attract. This is something I knew from a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I know you can attract certain kind of energy. Just, oh, niggas this, da 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 da. Haters this, that, da da da. That's all you gotta say is like, who is your hater? First of all, bro,
Right. Right.
I don't even fucking know you. But then eventually you start putting it out there in the world. You start picking up somebody. Like, oh,
Yeah.
he get on my nerve. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Bro, you
That's real.
create the haters talking about the haters.
Yeah,
What
you
haters?
bro,
really
you
do.
yeah, you do, man. You attract what you say
Absolutely.
you don't want, man.
Yep. No, that's real. Oof.
You attract what you say you don't want, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, nah, I definitely don't want to go there because I do feel like we have to go through something, heck, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I find that you are brave, bro. You were brave to go traverse it in the way that you want to traverse it. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you really think about this, Hector, right? Where are your grandparents from, bro?
Yeah. They. I mean,
Where they from?
they came from Puerto
They
Rico.
they came from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
You're pretty much the first gen for like the first gen American here. Like there was no foundation for you to grow up off of, bro.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? There was no foundation. There was nobody who knew America years and knew how this worked and could teach all about credit. Like everything we are going through, like it's because we didn't have that generational tie to America. That's partially the reason. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
But yo,
Yeah.
bro, we all gotta go through something, man. It's gotta be something. You know what I mean? We're gonna go through something. The person with the perfect life is gonna find something to complain about, bro. They're gonna
Yeah.
find something to hate, even worse.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll answer the question, bro. Just because you brought it up, like, with regrets. I mean, God honest truth, bro. Like, I can't say I have any regrets because, where I'm at right now, this was the path that I had to go through to get to where I'm at right now. So, you know, as you were saying, that experience thing, man. You know, I would literally, all the darkest parts, I would suffer them again to ensure where I'm at, because, you know, I love the woman I'm with. I love my blended family, my daughter and my son now. You know, I love where I'm at mentally with the coaching and giving 100% at work all the time and chasing a small business and having dreams and ideas. And like, I had to deal with all that to have what I have right now. And I don't have a whole lot, man, but I'm a humble guy. So this feels like everything to me. And it feels good. But I will tell you this, that if I did have any regrets, it was that I was not patient with myself, because I was my own bully for a little while. Um, just thinking I wasn't enough and letting people tell me I wasn't enough and believing it, and, you know, letting that weight come crashing down, man. I I wasn't patient with me while I was transitioning, you know. And that shit was hard, man. It took a lot of years to get past and through that, to work through that. So, yo, like you were saying, man, anybody, you know, in a transition period, anybody young and getting ready to move out or feel like they have to, or you're dealing with something, man, just be patient. And be patient with the people you love too. And that's a reminder to everybody included in that story. So, you know, mom and dads, if you're pushing your kid out to be an adult, be patient. You know, let them blossom when they're ready to. You can't force it, because not all plants grow in all seasons. You know, and you could really stunt a lot of growth that way. So patience is necessary, man, for transitions. And you got to tell yourself that. You know what, Frankie, you told me this story so many times about the KFC, dude. Like, my man's was what, in his 60s, 70s when that was formulated. Like,
Yeah.
yo, you don't got to be in your ripe and prime 20s to be that. Success is when it occurs, man. It don't need to happen yesterday. You know what I mean? So just be patient and just keep going. Like, this shit was hard. I won't lie. Being out at 18 in a world where I knew nobody really, that was hard, man. But I made it work because I wanted it to work, and I just kept at it. And then, like I said, my son came and changed a lot for me. So yeah, here I am today, man, on a podcast with my best friends. Like, yo, I'm feeling good, yo. So it took
Yeah.
a little while to get here, but I am here, and that's,
Yeah.
it is what it
You
is.
know what? Heck, man, we're glad to have you here, man. I don't know what I don't know what your circumstances would have been and where you would have been if your life was a little different. You know,
Ooh,
just a little bit.
ooh,
You
just
know
a
what I'm
little,
saying? So,
yeah. Could have
you
been
know what I mean?
very.
I'm glad you're here, bro.
I
I'm glad you're
appreciate
here,
that,
man,
man.
for
Me
sure,
too,
man.
dog. Yo, I really am blessed and lucky that I have met y'all, man. Like, I could have went down a lot of bad paths, you know, being out in Connecticut, but you guys were like an anchor to some goodness, to some real quality parts of life, man. And so, you know, thanking you guys for, you know, being my homies, and then your mom and your pops for letting me come over as much as I did. I basically lived on that floor, yo. Like, I
Yeah,
was there all the time, bro. But I
yeah.
really appreciate it. Even Dion, man, you know, we got to get him out here one day. That'd be cool, man.
Word, that'll be fun, man.
But
That'll be
yo,
fun, man.
yeah, all the peoples, man, that yeah, there were many summers where all I did was go home to shower, eat, and go right back to y'all house, man. And I did that for the whole summer vacation, you know, sometimes.
Hey,
It was crazy,
hey,
man.
I could talk about a bunch of transitions when it comes to be here, man. But let me see, Brian. You got any transitions you want to share, man? Cause yo, I seen Brian go from being little quiet bro, to being like, number one in his line when he went to college. In a fraternity, like, really, I seen him really step out on his own. Like, so I seen a lot of transitions as far as his life goes. But I mean, what transition you want to talk about? It could be life, it could be business. Fit. We talked about fitness before.
Hmm.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, I mean, I
What you
guess
got on transition?
there have been a few. I guess the first like significant transition would have been the one in college, right? Like going to school, studying in university. You know, joining the fraternity was probably a
Hmm.
big transition within that experience, because even though like I was going to college, I didn't study, abroad. I didn't go out of state. Like, I was commuting to school. So I, it didn't feel that different to me, even though I got to meet a lot of people that came from different parts of the country or even other parts of the world. Like, I didn't feel like I had the full college experience. I was taking the bus to and from school, hop on the city bus, get on the coastal link,
So
walk all the way back down to university. Um, after I was done with all my courses, I could go home. Like I got to eat cooked food. Like
Yeah.
all
yeah,
my fellow students, they had to deal with that cafeteria stuff.
That
They
ramen
had to
noodle
sleep in
diet
little
and shit.
dorms.
ramen noodles and
Yeah,
shit. Yeah.
exactly. They had to sit in, they had to sleep in little dorms, heating up,
Mm.
yeah, ramen noodles in their microwave and things like that. So it wasn't a different like. So I wasn't fully out of my comfort zone. Like even though I was like studying at a university, so it wasn't really until I decided to join the fraternity when I really stepped out of my comfort zone because just to be eligible for like the intake process, we had to like join different clubs like that were available at the school. So we did that. So we joined clubs, we did community service and fundraisers.
I have a question, B.
Yeah,
What was it that made you like decide to like join a fraternity? Like what pushed you towards that? Was it like a friend or like was it something they did that inspired you that moved you towards them specifically?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
what was it exactly?
One of my best friends, Coda. I had courses with him because I studied graphic design. So he was one of my classmates in the design program, and he used to tell me about how his brother was in a fraternity and stuff like that. And he used to talk about how cool the guys were, and how he admired them, and like the different stuff that they were about. And he made it sound like cool because at first when he told me about fraternity, my mind went to like the fraternities you see on TV. Oh, you talking about the guys who
Yeah, yeah.
drink and party and do drugs and all that stupid shit? And he was like, no, it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, no, it's not like that at all. So like, I finally had the opportunity to go to a Meet the Greeks, it's called. So like a lot of different organizations, they'll come, they'll have like a table set, they'll put on like a little display for the people, and like they'll talk to the different prospects. So like I went to the Meet the Greeks, and I got to meet some of the guys who would eventually become my brothers. And like I just got a good feeling from them. I was like, I really like these guys. You know what I'm saying? I was like, 'cause they were talking about like brotherhood was like their number one thing, right? Brotherhood, academic excellence, community service. Those were all things that sounded good to me. So I was like, you know what?
Mhm.
If you decide to join
That
Coda, I'll join too. Right?
Okay.
that's funny to hear, man. Not to say Brian never strive for academic excellence, right? But Hector, you know my brother.
Yeah.
Brian is this dude. I don't know how he's the only person I knew that could pull it off, right? He would not study a thing. I remember hearing on the announcements in school in Longfellow. One time Brian was like second or third in the school in some stat test or some shit like that. I can't remember.
Oh, I got
But I remember hearing that.
highest in the
And
SATs.
Hector, and I mean every night, like heck, I'm in bed by like 9. This dude just up all night. I had to wake him up every morning for school, and this dude would go to school and he'd be killing it anyway. Like meanwhile, my well rested ass over here, like you know what I mean, coming home with D's and C's on some regular shit. You know what I
Oh
mean?
man.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of academic excellence was actually like one of the reasons why you joined OB.
Yeah,
That's what you were
yeah,
striving for.
yeah. That's one of their, that's like one of their main, that's like one of their main things. It's the four pillars. One of the four pillars was academic excellence, brotherhood, community service. I forgot the fourth one. Well, yeah. So we ended up going to the Meet the Greeks. I got to meet some of the future brothers, and like it just felt right. I was like, you know what, let's do it. Let's join these clubs. Let's put in our community service hours. Let's raise some money so we can actually pay these pledging fees. Let's do it, you know? So there were 4 of us in the line, 5 if you had Josh, because he was at Southern at the time, so he joined our line. So it was like the 5 of us, you know, and the entire process took like 63 days, basically a whole semester, right? But you know, we would learn information about the fraternity. We would travel to other schools. So like, you know, we would say we would go to New Jersey or Delaware. So, you know, basically it's mostly schools along the East Coast. Like, so we visit other campuses and we'll learn about the chapter that was established there, you know, when, why they were founded, things like that, things about the university itself. So that was an experience for me. Like, you know, we got to hit the road, you know, we got to meet like other guys going through the same process that we were going through. And, you know, it was like one of the best experiences that I've had, like, you know, in my life, you know, just building that bonding
heck, man,
experience.
you wasn't there because you ran away to Colorado, but heck, could you imagine your little brother down there, right there, right?
Yeah. No.
Standing in front of a crowd, in front of the line, doing some stomp the yard shit, bro.
Hey.
When I say
Yeah,
Brian popped out, bro, his man popped out, man.
Dude, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, like,
Cause
you
yeah,
know,
Way
man,
beside the
yo,
Brian you knew, man.
yeah,
it was definitely challenging too. You know, there was a lot of times we had to, you know, we were up late studying. We had to study, you know, not only like fraternity stuff, but we still had to keep up with our studies too. With school.
coursework.
So that was tough. You know, it was grueling, like physically too. You know, I can't say anything too specific, but like it was definitely an experience. Like me and my frat bros, and there was like, I don't know, it brought us together. Like we were already kind of tight before we started pledging, but like we were like this
Yeah,
by the end
that's
of it. So
that
you
struggle,
know,
that
that
shared struggle,
definitely,
man.
yeah, it definitely expanded like my horizons. Like, you know, I already got somewhat of the college experience, like just being in college, but I felt like that amplified it like to a whole nother degree. So that's something
Right.
that I'm glad I decided to undertake, because, you know, I almost wrote it off completely. I'm like, man, Code, I ain't doing that shit. But like, you know, I'm glad I actually sat there and, you know, listened to them and stayed home from school one day. I mean, not stayed home, but stayed after all my courses was done to stay and go to the Meet the Greeks and everything like that, because it definitely was like, you know, I'm still in touch with these guys to this day, and I graduated like 14 years ago.
Yeah, built some lifelong friendships you built, man.
Yeah,
Like,
so like we
how,
definitely built some friendships. Matter of fact, you know, another one of the transitions that I made was in business. You know, my buddy Josh, you know, I went into business with him back in 2015, and I was selling insurance, and you know, it selling insurance policies is good money, but it's kind of stressful. Like people were telling me I wasn't
live
myself. Like, you know, always having to meet these quotas and try to keep people from dropping their policies and like going switching to Geico and stuff like that. Like,
Yep.
you know, it was stressful, because it's like, you know, you will have a quota one month, and then the next month wipes out and you got a whole nother quota, and it's just like never ending. So, you know,
The hamster wheel.
Oh,
so like,
that
you know, it was decent money
The
for
hamster
sure,
wheel of
but
car insurance.
yeah, I'm not a salesman. I don't like trying to sell people on stuff. Like if you call me, you say you want to drop your policy, I don't want to have to convince you to keep it. You know, it's obviously something you thought about already. Like, you know, I gotta twist your arm, make you keep a policy you don't want. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Yeah.
you know, he hits me up one day. He's like, "Hey, bro, I'm finally getting started with this business thing that we've been talking about for a while. And you know, like if you're gonna be on board, the train's about to take off." So I was like, you know, do I have like 2 weeks? I get this dude my 2 weeks. No, he's like, yeah, we don't have time for all that. He's like, we're gonna be starting up over in Vermont in Plattsburgh, New York. So I was like, you know what? I ain't giving him no 2 weeks. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. So
Yep.
since then, we've been in business. We started off with these little kiosks, and now we have like 4 locations, 3 of them inside of a mall, and another one like that's a standalone that's doing really well. And the
Yeah,
business
you
is
know what,
expanding and
B?
things are going well.
You know what, B? It's always the transition that bring about like real change, like life changing change. Like, you know what I mean? The transitions you're talking about. You know what I mean? And I think that's like I think just the transition alone that we're talking about with you from college, with you into business is like a fine enough point to like really like drive home, right? Because like we want the viewers to like, especially anybody who's young, who's thinking about going to college, who's thinking about not going to college, you know what I mean, who's thinking about moving out of town, like my boy Hector. You just guys just got a little bit of a few different ways to go about it. But just know, whatever path you choose, whatever path you guys choose, like, yo, just pick a path and go with it. You know what I mean? Because make sure it feels good to you, though. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I would like to add in there. Like, yo, make sure it feels good, like it's something you want to do, and then go learn about it. Because some things you're not gonna know until you dive into it. You know what I'm saying? Until you put yourself out there. Brian didn't know he wasn't gonna like selling car insurance until he sold car insurance. He ain't like it. He ain't like it. He transitioned over there. He didn't like it so bad. And mind you, Brian's a guy who likes to leave on good terms and stuff like that. That I can tell you. Brian's an honest dude. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't like it that bad. His boy say, yo, the train leaving, bro. He said, all right, fine, whatever.
Yeah,
Doses.
he was
You know
like,
what I mean?
yeah, he was like, hey, if he fired you, would he give you 2 weeks to find another job? I was like, you know what, you're right.
Oh,
I was like, you know what,
good
you're
point. Good point.
Yeah. So
Damn.
the transition leads to we can't be afraid to take that step. Like it must come. The change must come. I know we like to stay in our comfort zone, but that comfort, just understand. They say to to um repeatedly do the same thing, but expect a different result is insanity.
Yeah.
It's insanity. So the transitions Hector and Brian are talking about, like, yo, I'm trying to get somebody, yo, embrace it. Embrace it. You know what I mean? If you guys feel like y'all been in a place of deja vu, like you've been here before, every time you walk through your job door, that means it's time for a change. That means you're feeling the effect of the hamster wheel. You know what I'm saying? I know I've been there.
Yeah.
I know I've been there.
Whew.
If we have to live life on repeat, we might as well be repeating the things we love the most as much as we can. You know what I mean? If life is something, if we have no choice to be on a hamster wheel, let it be a hamster wheel that brings us constant joy and not constant frustration. Like, let's get off this hamster wheel and on a new hamster wheel. Transition into the bigger hamster wheel or the smaller one, whatever. It's time to make those moves, man.
I like it.
And with that, man, we like an hour and 15 in. Heck, man, we didn't get to do the freaking
We could
from
do it
minds to
real. We could do
matter.
it
Heck,
real fast, man. It's real.
yeah.
Oh yeah, real simple, real easy.
Jesus Christ, we late in it, man. We late in it, man. From minds to matter. From minds to matter. From our heads to your eyes. No need to visualize. Mid-journey will share with you exactly what's on our mind. And with that, it is time for minds to matter. Hector, take it away.
Yeah. So I don't know. We grew up watching like movies like Aladdin, or you watch these magical movies. There's always like this scroll, like Kung Fu Panda. There's these mystical scrolls, and they tell you about life and all of its essences. And the real thing is, man, is just asking the right questions, man. Asking the questions where you're trying to get to, So I figured I'm gonna just make something real simple, real fun. just, I love asking questions. I love figuring shit out along the way. And I love getting perspective from other people that have had an experience in which I'm seeking. So yeah, man, just made this little magical scroll here with a
Hey,
yeah.
combining last week's episode with this week's episode. Stupid questions get stupid answers. You know what I mean? A powerful question may come with a powerful answer.
It may change your life.
I like that.
Nah. You guys learn to narrow down. Like we all gotta learn to narrow down our questioning. Like, let's stop asking stupid questions. Questions we can find the answer to ourselves. Let's ask the harder questions. By being able to narrow down our questioning, when the time comes and we find that magic lamp, we know exactly what to wish for the first time.
There it is. Yes, sir. All right, so yeah, we're well over it. Dope though. That conversation was cool, y'all. So we'll have some more stuff up on the wheel here soon. Maybe we'll segment it a little differently. We'll see. We'll see what's up. That's part of the transition with the podcast. We're always figuring out, what to do next.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get us up out of here though. So with that said, for all y'all that came through and let us borrow some time, we'll see you next week on PC of Mind. Peace out, y'all. Much love.
Much love.